Hi guys, here's just a quick tutorial on how to run an optimization in Amibroker. What that basically means is that if you've got your system, you've got your rules, you've got it set, you just don't know if 7 by 21 is better or 8 by 20 is better. Why not just run some variables for every single iteration and just trying it all out basically. Okay, so this is how you would do it in Amibroker. I'm assuming you have Amibroker and that you've got your data set up. Right, so I'm going to open up Amibroker now and we're going to load our system. Okay, what I just want to point out before I do that is the system that I am using is I buy when the EMA goes up through the SMA, and if it goes down through the SMA, then you go short. So it's just a moving average crossover system, very basic one, and we're going to run some optimizations on that. I want to point out this bit of code, this optimized bit of code, because you're going to see why it's necessary just now. Okay, so opening up my Amibroker, what you do is we're looking at your chart with your data and everything. It's going to change this to, say, the ALSI. And what you do is you click on this little hammer over here, Formula Editor. Okay, you'll see a screen like this pop up, and this is where you can type your code. Okay, we've already got our code, so I'm just going to open that up quickly. Save this as no. Just go to my code. Okay, now that you've got your code up and running, I first just want to change these two lines to show you what these slashes mean. As you can see, it's turned green. What they mean is they just comment that line out. So that means that when it runs, it ignores those lines. Okay, so at the moment, it just runs that the variable fast p is 7 and slow p is 13. That's set. Okay, so if I change that to this optimize, it's now slightly different. Okay, so now we're going to send this code, we're going to test and send it back through to Amibroker. Okay, so you click on this little triangle button over here and it sends it back. So on your Amibroker, now you make sure that you've got your testing period right, so that's fine, which is from the start of 2015. We make sure our settings are right, longs and shorts 30 minutes, that's perfect. So for all those settings, it will run the back test if I click on back test. Okay, so as you can see, it ran the back test. I'm happy. Okay, but now what we're going to do is we want to run optimizations, and to do that we first need to make sure that our code's right. So let's go back here, and this bit of code is what allows it to write these optimizations. Okay, now that we've got everything set up, we've got our Amibroker running, we've got our period set up, our testing period, our time frames, our instruments, everything's set up. Now let's go through the code to make sure that what it is that we are back testing and what we're doing. And let's really get an understanding of what we're doing right now. So we've got our normal system that we run here, and we've tested it, and that's fine. What we're trying to do is we're trying to see if 7 by 13 is the best. Maybe 8 by 13 or 12 by 20 is had better results over this period. To do that, I've added these two lines of code, as I said, the optimize. So let's go through this line. Right, it says that this variable fast p that used to be just 7 is now this whole long line. Okay, and how you read this is that the first bit that you put in, this fast, is just the name of that line, and you'll see just now where that appears. But I mean, I can make this anything, x, y, z, if I wanted to. I call it fast because that just helps me identify it better. The next one is the default parameter. So there you recognize the 7 by 13. That's why right now if I clicked on the back test, it runs 7 by 13, because right now the default parameter in fast is 7, the default is 13. So if I just click on back test, it runs these two parameters. Next, you have the starting value, the ending value, and then the step. What that means is it will run through this loop of optimizations, and it will start at this number, it will end at this number, and it will increment itself by this number. So in other words, if this line didn't exist, okay, then what it means is that it would just loop through 1 by 100. Let's say we set this at 13. It would only change through every loop the fast variable, and it would change it from 1 to 100 by 1. So the first time it loops, it will run 1 by 13. The second time it loops, it will run 2 by 13. The third time, 3 by 13. So if I change this to 10, the first time it runs, it will be 1 by 13. The second time will be 11 by 13. The third time will be 21 by 13, and so on. Okay, so we're going to put that back, and we're going to change this. Okay, with all the changes I've made, let's just double check that everything's back. This has not been commented out. Okay, because we define everything over here. My fast price, my slow price, everything's defined there. Like I said, you press the triangle and it goes back here, so we can even close it now because it's got the code up and running. We check our settings, and now let's run our optimization. Yeah, as you can see over here, it says 7 minutes remaining. The longer the time span that you test over, the longer this will take. So for example, if I stop this and I change this to 2007 and I reran it, as you can see, it now takes about 20 minutes to do this. Okay, I'll just pause the video here a bit so that you don't have to wait the 20 minutes. So the back testing is finished now, and as you can see here, the results. Just to go through exactly what it is that the optimization did. Just to explain it again, right? It starts with the 1, goes up to 100 with the step 1. What that means, right, is that on the fast variable, it starts at 1, and then it makes the parameter slow 1. So the first loop is 1, 1. The second loop is it keeps it at 1, changes the slow. So it tests 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, all the way up to 100. So 1 by 100, and then it ticks over to the next one. So then fastest 2 by 1, 2 by 2, 2 by 3, and so it goes down all the way up to 100 by 98, 100 by 99, 100 by 100. And that's why it takes so long to do the whole optimization, because it's so many parameters that it tests. And sometimes you might find that you might even leave the optimization overnight because the whole thing takes so long. And this is the result of our testing. It shows us how many systems it's tested. It shows the net profit for that system, the max trade, the max drawdown, the recovery factor, a lot of stuff that's built in, and it's very nice to work with. That's why I really do like Amibroker a lot, because you might not use all these factors, but it allows that you can pick and choose the ones that really speak to you. Maybe Sharpe ratios, maybe profit factors, maybe compounded growth or net profit, whichever one it is, it's all available here for you. Right, and you can just copy paste this as well, put it into Excel and just play around with it as well. It's very easy to do that. The last thing that I wanted to point out was that I said earlier in our code that we have these names over here, right? It's what I wanted to point out is right at the end. If you go right to the end of your testing results, you'll see the column names over here. Just make that a bit bigger, is fast and slow. In other words, it named these columns whatever name I gave it there. So here I can see the best result that I got over this testing period was the 1 by 9, and that was, sorry, if I rank it by net profit, the best result that I got was 36 by 40. Right, that's the whole optimization. From here you will have to take the results and play around with it yourself a bit and see what you come up with. But hopefully this helped you with the process, and thank you very much for listening. If you need to contact me, all my details on the website at myshares.co.za. Hope to hear from you. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.